Well, good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome in. It is Thursday. It is NCAA men's basketball tournament day as well. Barry in Oklahoma City with Troy basketball, who's going to tip in about 4 hours, a little more than 4 hours from now. Gurn Sr. pitch hitting again today on this Thursday. Gurn, good to see you there. Must be a little chilly in your neck of the woods. First time we've seen you with more than just a golf shirt on.
Good morning. It's nippy down in Butler County when I got into the car this morning. Beautiful morning driving up, watching the sunrise. Not my favorite time of the year in the sense that I don't like waking up in the dark. You like waking up in the dark? I like having the sunlight. Now, I do like the opportunity to catch 9 holes after work with the time change. So
I just think if you lived in the Eastern time zone, you could play 18 holes after work in around June and July. But, you know, I do like the mornings darker because on the weekends I can sleep a little later and I'm not interrupted by the sunlight coming in through my windows. So I do like that part of it. Plus, I like the days to be longer at the end of the day. I don't like.
We just put.
Nothing's more depressing than getting dark at 4:45 in the middle of December.
See, we just put tinfoil on our windows so the light doesn't come through.
That's an old college trick.
That's an old college trick, but for other reasons.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Very exciting, as you can imagine. I know it started on Tuesday, but officially the NCAA tournament begins today. A load of games. We're going to go over all of those today. A lot of special guests today as well. Jason Caldwell at the bottom of this hour. Kicking off hour number 2, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider. Bart Heisch at the bottom of hour number 2, our college basketball insider. So we got a lot going on this Thursday. And I'm, I would say, a different location for a Thursday. I'm at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, normally here on Fridays. But I will be on the road tomorrow as well, broadcasting the show, as will Barry. Hopefully, Barry's hoping he'll be broadcasting from Oklahoma City tomorrow, meaning that Troy wins today against Nebraska. We're going to break that game down for you a little later as well. But wanted to start the tournament off here at Stivers, where Markdown Madness is going on, Gurn. How about that one? Markdown Madness.
Well, you know, we have legal constraints on what you can say and promote with the NCAA is pretty vigilant on their marketing, but sure. I really like the play on that. That's top notch.
I don't want to say I came up with this on my own. I'm sure there's some, advertising firm in LA that probably has come up with it. Just hadn't heard them use it yet, but I've been using Markdown Madness here at Stivers for many years. And here's a couple of reasons why. New 2025 Explorers up to $13,000 off MSRP. That some as low as $33,990. The Explorer started the SUV craze back in the 80s. New 2025 Broncos up to $12,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,990. New 2025 Expeditions carry the whole family to the game, to the beach, wherever you're going. The Expedition can handle it, up to $10,000 off. New 2025 Bronco Sports up to $9,000 off MSRP, as low as $25,990. And of course, America's best-selling truck for over 50 years in a row. Think about that. The 2025 F-150s up to $18,000 off MSRP, or 0% APR for 66 months. And the new 2025 F-150 Lightning up to $16,000 off, or 0% for 75 months. And look, this isn't 4 or 5 vehicles they're just trying to move off the lot. This is every vehicle here at Stivers, and they are loaded up in the front, on the sides, in the rear of the dealership. They've got more vehicles on the ground than you can ever imagine. Little construction going on as well. And every time we come out here, we can see the progress, a lot going on, but it will not disrupt or interfere with your car shopping experience. It's kind of off to the side a little bit, but some exciting things coming here to Stivers in Montgomery. We'll be telling you more about that a little bit later on. Kelly gives me the update every time we roll in, and it is looking great. But Stivers Ford is where you need to be for all of your transportation needs. And we're here, of course, to talk a little basketball. I'm sure we'll mix in some spring football as well. But I know, Gurn, the big basketball fan that you are, what's a day like today for you?
Oh, it doesn't get any better than today. Today and tomorrow. If you put those two together now, I have not done a good job of being able to maximize watching and minimizing work for the next 2 days. I'm going to be on the road both this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon. So I will actually be listening on XM Westwood 1, which I actually like listening to basketball on the radio.
It's
it
depends on who you're listening to, though.
If you do it well, and I will tell you, there's nobody who does it better than Chris Stewart. He's a really good football guy, but he cut his teeth on basketball. I actually worked with Chris back in the mid 90s. I was part of a group that took the Final Four basketball to bring the boys and girls together in all classifications. And got to see Bart Heitch play in high school in that tournament. And Chris Stewart used to do games and did it for many years before he was anybody at the University of Alabama. And he was one of the hardest working guys in the business, and still is. And but look, nothing against Eli, but you listen to Eli.
Why not?
You don't know down and distance. You don't know where they are in the shot clock. And Chris he's really developed just some great criticisms, like let's get out of here. That kind of stuff at the end when it's a really exciting game. And Brian Pasick does a good job with him. That's a really solid duo. So. Yeah, I'll be listening.
I'm with you.
I'll be listening to games this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon on the radio, and just excited. I mean, there's gonna be upsets. I mean, there just are.
Sure.
I mean, everybody's wanting to know who they are. My upset is, unfortunately, it's one that everybody's picking.
Real quick before you get to the upsets.
Yeah.
Certainly, I mean, I'm with you on Chris. I've known Chris a long time as well. I've seen him work his way up from high schools to what you were talking about. I mean, he just did whatever it took at Alabama and bided his time. And he is really, really good. I'm with you there. Football, basketball, does an outstanding job. Now, he's no Barry McKnight. I mean, let's just go ahead and get that out of the way first and foremost.
Well, Barry is a true professional. He could. I tell you what Barry can do. He could call middle school tiddlywinks and make it enjoyable. He has his depth of knowledge is unsurpassed. And John, I mean, look, let's just be honest. You listen to you or me or anybody else on the radio, you're like, maybe they're not professionally trained.
Sure.
He a pro. He
is a pro. You're right about that. I'll be listening to him later this morning. And of course, hey, got to give a little love to Andy Bertram, particularly in difficult moments. That's when I think Andy really shines.
He's I tell you, the best thing about Andy is he can be brutally honest.
Oh, you better believe it.
And now he is a homer. He's a definite homer.
Sure.
And there's never been a foul that wasn't called, that should have been called. But he can, if it's not going the right way, and he will call it out.
Yeah, so that's what I appreciate most about Andy, because if I'm on the road and I'm listening and I flip it over to the Auburn network, I can know within 20 seconds if Auburn's winning or losing and haven't heard the score yet.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So that's good stuff. All right, so you were getting into some games today. And I don't know if you got to listen in, but on the program yesterday, we had a very special guest. She actually finished 7th out of over 25 million entrants into the ESPN.
I think I know her. I think I've known her since birth. And that is still, it's almost like James Buster Douglas. I mean, I still say that's the greatest upset of all time, but 7th out of that many is pretty damn amazing.
I mean, I don't know what the percentage of that is out of that many entrants. She threw a couple of upsets out yesterday.
I did not. I tried to catch it and I missed it. And I'll be interested to see. So this is one that everybody I think is picking is the VCU North Carolina game.
Oh, okay.
North Carolina's best player, he'll be a top 10 draft pick. He's got a bum hand because he was dunking in practice. He's already injured, and then he came back and broke his hand in practice on a dunk. So they're wounded, but and VCU's a really solid team. The Rams out of Richmond.
They're an 11 seed taking on a 6 seed. Now this game is in Greenville, South Carolina. Does that have any weight on it?
There are going to be plenty of fans for both there, but so this is a weird connection that I like is that the coach for VCU is Phil Martelli Jr.
Okay.
Emphasis on junior. Okay.
All right.
His dad, Phil Martelli, if you Googled him and looked at his picture, he'd look like what's the big doofy guy on The Office that had the chili?
Oh, yeah.
Kevin. He looks kind of like Kevin.
Okay.
But the interesting thing about Phil Martelli is he used to coach at St. Joseph's, which is in Philadelphia. All right. Okay. They had a good run. They've had some good runs. They had some NBA players and had really good situation there. But that's not what's special about St. Joseph's. So I went to a NCAA with Gurn Jr. and his sister and mother in Birmingham. And we looked over, and St. Joe's was one of the teams playing. And they are the Hawks. And the Hawk mascot was flapping his wings.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's fine. It never stopped. Flapped its wings the whole game. So you
must have some unbelievable upper body strength.
I was like, I got to Google it. Something's not right. Either that person's not right. Maybe something's wrong with them and they have to flap the whole time or something. But they have a thing where it says the hawk may never rest or something like that. And so this hawk, no kidding, he flaps the whole game. So you get a scholarship if you're the hawk.
Huh.
And you have to be able to flap the whole game. Now, they get on timeouts and halftime and stuff, they get to stop.
Okay.
But, it's really annoying. But
I can imagine.
It's really impressive. So the Hawk will never rest, I think is their phrase. But this is – and he was a coach there, and this was his dad. So you're
thinking VCU is a 2-point underdog in a game at 5:50 on TNT. That upset alert for the Tar Heels?
It's not. I mean, if it's a 2-point spread, I mean, it's not huge. I mean, for 11-6, everybody probably thinks it. I just think that could be one that could be a blowout. Now, I did make it home. I had a little something after work yesterday. Got home, had a little dinner with the wife out at our local restaurant, and got home.
You didn't take her to that Mexican place by the interstate, did you?
No. We went there the other night.
Oh Lord! Oh.
There aren't many options for us, but that's that's in our rotation. So Miami of Ohio is playing.
Yeah,
and that was an amazing game playing SMU. And I told you heard me the other day. I got on Miami of Ohio when they were playing playing University of Ohio on that Friday night when they were trying to go 31-0. And I'm now on the bandwagon. They lit them up. I mean, they looked like an Alabama. They had like 15 threes, and they were making everything. So look, say what you want to about the first four. I think the 16 games where you got the schmoes playing each other, that's nothing. But 2 11s playing each other is actually good basketball. We had the Texas game the night before.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Both games were. I mean, for a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night, you got nothing else. I mean,
I'm with you.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So
sounds good. Hey, what do we say we go back your neck of the woods here? A longtime viewer, a longtime listener back in our radio days, Robbie from Greenville has submitted his final 4 picks. Robbie says he likes Duke being healthy. Okay. Florida, Iowa State, and Arizona. has Duke beaten Arizona for the national title, got Bama going out in the Sweet 16, losing to Michigan. Do they make it to Michigan? And the reason I ask is because our special guest, my daughter yesterday, finished 7th in the ESPN Tournament Bracket Challenge last year. One of her early round upsets is Texas Tech going down.
Well,
the Red Raiders, and I tell you, they got a tough draw.
You always got to go with the Zips when you can go with the Zips. And Akron, all right, John, whose hometown is Akron? Do you know?
Hometown.
Yep.
Don't know.
LeBron James.
LeBron James from Akron, Ohio. I did not know that.
And so I think the Zips.
Texas Tech, a 7.5-point favorite, taking 12 seed Akron on tomorrow. Texas Tech, a 5 seed. It's 11:40 on True TV. The winner of that game, the reason I bring that up, plays the winner of the game later that day at 3:50. What time is that game? 3:50?
Yeah, something like that. That may be 2:50 our time. I'm not sure.
2:15. Excuse me. Hofstra and Alabama's at 2:15 tomorrow. Alabama an 11.5-point favorite in that game tomorrow. But yeah, she likes the Akron Zips and Gurn. I've heard a lot of people talk about Akron. I was heading out to Stivers Ford this morning and heard the guys on Sirius talking about the Zips. So Texas Tech could have their hands full tomorrow in that game early. You'll know who, if Alabama beats Hofstra, you'll know who they'll be playing before the tide tips against Hofstra tomorrow afternoon.
You got to give, let's just be honest and talk about what colleges are what and who they are. Texas Tech and Auburn are very similar teams, okay? And similar schools, in a sense. Both have ag base. Obviously, A&M's a little bit, but A&M thinks they're different. But Auburn
when Tommy Tuberville was the coach of Texas Tech, he actually referred to Lubbock as Iran. It was so bad out there.
I understand, but Lubbock and Auburn are not metropolitan areas. So, but you have to give Texas Tech props and look and say, could Auburn have done this? They got a booster that has put millions and millions and millions of dollars in that program.
Sure.
And they've become relevant again. And anybody who watches sports will know they went out and paid $1 million for the best pitcher in softball from Stanford. And she is unbelievable. And they went to the World Series. So,
and just think, Gurn, it only 15 years ago, it only took $180,000 to get a great quarterback. It's unbelievable.
Easy now. People have been fired from their jobs as PA announcers. You gotta be careful when you.
Well, you can't play son of a preacher man or take the money and run. You can't do that. Hey, speaking of running, we need to take our first break of the day. Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, going to join us in about 12 minutes here on the program. Gurn Sr. joining us today as Barry is getting ready for Troy basketball in the NCAA tournament, taking on Nebraska at 11:40 this morning, I believe, is the tip time for Troy and Nebraska. 11:40 on True TV. I'm here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. It is Markdown Madness, where you can get America's best-selling truck for over 50 years in a row. The F-150 2025 models up to $18,000 off or 0% for 66 months. Come on out to Stivers, where price sells cars. Let's take a quick break. Back with more right after this.
Get Truck Month deals on more than trucks at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Explorers for $13,000 off. Broncos $12,000 off. Expeditions $10,000 off. And Bronco Sports $9,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Ford Truck Month is bigger and better at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Take advantage of 0% APR on Super Duties, Lightnings, and F-150s. F-150s, $18,000 off. Super Duties, $2,000 under invoice. And Lightnings, $16,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store.
Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here today on this Thursday. Yep, Thursday, special day here at Stivers Ford, kicking off the NCAA tournament here with our friends at Stivers, where Price sells cars. Hey, listen, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell all your friends, tell all your enemies. It doesn't matter. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate that. You can always check us out at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. A lot of response, a lot of viewers on the Yellowhammer Facebook page. We really appreciate that. Got some data from the last 30 days at the Yellowhammer News Facebook page. Whew, really appreciate all the people checking us out there. Really, really do. Also, you can check us out on our Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes. We're all over the place. You can check us out on your time when it's convenient for you. That's the great thing about this format. We do it live every weekday, 7 to 9, but you watch, you listen on your time when it's convenient for you. We certainly appreciate that. We see the numbers, and we greatly appreciate everybody supporting us here on Longshore and McKnight. Speaking of that, Gurn, and this is when it always happens, which is fine. We are getting the entries into the 4-for-4 contest. They are rolling in. And I noticed since we were last on yesterday, we have gotten a ton of entries. I was checking in with Lyle at Marguerite's yesterday. I said, Lyle, man, the entries are rolling in. Man, we are getting a lot of people getting in on our 4-for-4 contest. And you still have time. At 11 o'clock this morning, we are cutting it off.
Tomorrow, yeah, 11 o'clock this morning.
11 o'clock today. We must have your entry at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Give us your 4 teams that will make the Final Four. And if you got the most teams in it, you're looking pretty good. We also need the total number of points scored in the championship game on Monday, April the 6th. So give us your Final Four, total number of points scored in the championship game. Email it to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Don't get cute. Don't get funny and try to send multiple entries because we know where they're coming from. We got it all figured out, got it time-stamped as well. Of course, this all brought to you by our good friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Bama Budweiser, Phoenix Physical Therapy, and the Montgomery Regional Airport. So get in on it because at 11 a.m. Central Time this morning, we will cut off all entries.
So you've got your chat bot ready to do an AI search for all the burner email addresses for people trying to game the system on the 4-for-4.
That's right.
Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I would love to see how that went into operation there on
we've been doing this a long time, and we've had some people that have tried to get a little sneaky on us. I will say this: Barry is more adept at being able to sniff that kind of stuff out. He's really good about it. He takes pride in it, actually, in finding people that are trying to circumvent the rules.
Well, you always, prizes and games and sponsorships, those are also always fun. And, we don't have time on this show, but there's always been some that have blown up in the past. So, TV shows have that's been fodder for them for certain TV shows. So,
yeah, Theotis up in Huntsville wants to know, can I send in multiple entries since I've never entered? Nope, can't do that, Theotis. Only one entry per year. Sorry you've missed in prior years. That's your loss, not ours. But, hey, thanks for trying. Pretty good deal. All right, today, the first game is TCU and Ohio State from Greenville, South Carolina. A 9 versus an 8. TCU a 9 seed, Ohio State an 8 seed. The Buckeyes a 2.5-point favorite. This game's on CBS. from Bon Secours Wellness Arena. I thought Bon Secours was in Baldwin County.
It is. It's actually in Mobile County.
Okay.
Yes. And I think, look, here's what I'm hoping. Okay. This would be the perfect storm. You get that first game started. Everybody's kind of trickling in. They're watching it. Nobody gives a shit about TCU and Ohio State. Two middle of the road, Big Four teams. Then you get Troy hits a couple of threes.
Woo!
And they've got a little lead or right at there. And then South Florida and Louisville starts. Nobody really cares about South Florida and Louisville. Everybody gravitates to True, which is on my dish, it's the next channel after ESPN.
Okay.
ESPN2.
Let me ask you this. How much True TV do you watch other than when tournament basketball's on it?
I watch a lot of True TV.
Bait Car?
No. I watch Practical Jokers.
Oh, Practical Jokers. Okay.
Yeah, Impractical Jokers.
That doesn't surprise me. A guy that threw a lot of practical jokes on people back in our college days.
That show slays me. It just absolutely, I cannot, once I hit it, I can't turn it off. And because it's so embarrassing that, I mean, I hate to put myself in those roles, that if I were those guys doing those things, but yeah, I was a candid camera kid growing up.
I can imagine
watching
Alan Funt.
Yep, absolutely. There you go.
Yeah,
we're old enough to know things like that.
Yeah. Now we get a correction here.
Baldwin County. Okay.
Yeah, it says, and I thought it was in Baldwin County. I spent a little time down there, as you do as well. But I thought Bon Secours was in Baldwin County. So thanks for the correction there. We appreciate that. All right. So yeah, I think Ohio State, TCU kicking it off. Then we got Troy and Nebraska immediately. But that game's on True TV. I think I've still got that in my lineup. I'm pretty sure that I do.
You've got True TV. It's just TBS and TNT, and this is one of their extra channels.
All right, here's another one that my daughter mentioned yesterday as a potential first-round upset. Number 12 seed High Point taking on 5 seed Wisconsin at 12:50 on TBS today. The Badgers a 10.5-point favorite.
I'm going to have to go against Lucy on this one. Wisconsin has unbelievable guards, and they've been playing really well lately. So that I like the really well played games lately. That's my stat versus last last 10. How have they done in the last few games? And they did really well in the Big Ten tournament. And so
a couple of SEC schools I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, a school that you're very close and loyal to, the Vanderbilt Commodores, a 5 seed, playing McNeese in Oklahoma City. They're out there with Barry and the Trojans. The Commodores about a 12.5-point favorite. I like the way that Vandy has been playing of late. What about the Doors and McNeese State at 2:15 today?
Vandy, when you look at teams, okay, you look at the overall makeup of a team, and they have amazing complementary players. They've got a first team all SEC point guard who's a sophomore he's 5'11", 6 foot. He's not a big guy, but he's amazingly fast and great ball handler. They've got a kid from Lee High School, Duke Miles.
Yeah.
He's really lit it up. He's been injured and he's back. And with him playing, they're a different team. But then they've got just guys. They got a shooter. They got a couple of big guys that can hit the 10-footer. They got a couple of bangers. So, plus, John, they've got one player that's unique in all of the NCAA basketball.
Huh.
His name is Chandler Bing. So, obviously, you never watched Friends.
No.
Chandler Bing was a character on Friends, and this the story goes that he's never watched Friends, but his name's Chandler Bing.
Okay.
All
right, that makes sense. I got that. All right, the other one, Arkansas. I like the way the Razorbacks have been playing, hearing a lot of the national media talk about the Hogs. win the SEC tournament, got what I think is maybe the best player in the country. Saw him light Alabama up in Tuscaloosa. What about Calipari in the tournament? Guy's got some experience.
All right, John, I'm going to go with some intel that there's no way you would know this.
Well,
but
try me.
Someone who is very close to the show, maybe even part of the show. I'm not going to say he's involved with a wheel aspect of the show. Placed a futures on Arkansas to win it all.
Smart kid.
And he told me that, I guess it was at least 2 weeks ago. It was well before the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
And I think got pretty good odds. I mean, because you'd think, I mean, they're what are they, a 4 seed? So, hey, we're crossing fingers.
I like how they're playing.
They have the type of team that could make a legitimate run. I mean, they've got it all. They don't turn the ball over. They got great guards. I mean, they got 3 great guards. They got a big guy who can, when he plays well.
Yeah.
They got Nick Pringle from Alabama.
They sure do. They sure do. Yeah,
they
certainly do.
You can't just eat one. I guess that's Lay's, but
well, you can't eat one Pringle either.
Okay.
I can promise you that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you what, we got Jason Caldwell in the green room. He's ready to go. Let's take a quick timeout. When we return, Jason Caldwell, Auburn undercover, is going to join us here on Longshore and McKnight. It is NCAA tournament time. It is spring football. It is college baseball. We got a lot to talk about. Stick around, more to come after this quick timeout.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
4 for 4 in the Final Four. Pick the 4 teams to make the Final Four in this year's men's NCAA basketball tournament to win a 4-carat lab-grown diamond valued at well over $4,000 from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. The winner will be announced on Tuesday, April the 7th. And as a tiebreaker, submit the total points scored in the championship game to be played on Monday, April the 6th. We'll be taking entries from 6 p.m. Sunday, March the 15th through 11 a.m. Thursday, March the 19th. Entries can be submitted to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. 4 for 4 in the Final Four is sponsored by Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Bama Budweiser, Phoenix Physical Therapy, and the Montgomery Regional Airport. In the event of a tie, there will be a live drawdown Tuesday, April 7th to determine the overall winner. Get your picks in beginning March 15th at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com, and good luck. Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at River Bank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 27 minutes at the top of the hour. Our friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here today. Jason, thanks for being on with us today. I know it's a busy time of year for you, as it is for Barry McKnight, who is in Oklahoma City getting ready for Troy and Nebraska. Gurn Sr. has been nice enough to hop on with us here today and pinch hit for Barry. A lot going on, no doubt about it. First thing I wanted to touch base with you on, though, Jason, I listened to a little of your broadcast, Auburn, Georgia Tech baseball. You've been hyping this team up for the couple of months. And from what I heard earlier this week, this Auburn team's for real.
Yeah, they're playing really well. And, it's just, baseball, you're going to have days where the other pitcher's better. Or you're going to have days when your pitcher's not as good. But they've been pretty consistent so far. They've been able to do it with, they were without Bristol Carter and Eric Guevara on Tuesday night, hoping to get both those guys back this weekend. And look, Eddie Madrigal's a guy they brought in from St. Mary's in California to be their first baseman, who hit 20 home runs last year, who he tore an ACL in the fall, still hasn't played yet. Maybe a couple of weeks away from him starting to get some at-bats. So they pitched it really well, but offensively they haven't really played and swung the bat like I thought this team would to this point. So there's still some things left. Maybe you get there, maybe you don't. But they've been pretty good so far, and consistent is the main key.
Yeah, just looking ahead, Jason, who are some of the better teams in the SEC? Who's going to challenge Auburn at the end of the year in the SEC?
A bunch of them. That's the thing about it. When you talk about baseball and softball in this league, you almost go, hey, who do you think is not in that group? And I'd say outside of, Missouri and South Carolina, you start talking about pretty much everybody. I know Alabama struggled at Kentucky last weekend. That's still a team that's pretty talented. I think Auburn's schedule, you got nine games left, or 9 weekend series left. Alabama's the only team they play that's not in the top 22 right now in the poll.
Oh, wow.
So like they play everybody. And I mean, you start with Texas this weekend, but Texas, Arkansas, Mississippi State, they're all in the top 5 or 6 in the league. Georgia's been really good. Tennessee's good. They are. Ole Miss is good. Like it's just a challenge. Texas A&M's good. There's probably 10 teams that you go, man, those 10 teams realistically could have a shot. That's how deep the league is.
Spring football under Alex Golish started earlier this week. My thoughts, Jason, is you got a coaching staff that a lot of these guys are familiar with one another, know their system, know their routine. A lot of these players that are currently on the roster also know these coaches and the routine. To me, that's a huge plus. What have you picked up in the early stages of spring practice under Alex Golish?
Yeah, I think that's the key right now is, we talked about, Byron Brown and a bunch of receivers, a couple offensive linemen, but you also have offensive coordinator, quarterback coach, wide receiver coach, offensive line coach. You have it's a start with a new staff, but you're not starting over with a new staff because of the familiarity you have with a bunch of key players on offense. And look, you have DJ Durkin back on defense, so you're not starting over on defense. So it feels like on day one, you're way ahead of the curve of what you normally would be with a new coaching staff. And I thought that was the thing. Like the offense, getting out there, moving around, doing some things, like it feels like you're starting in the middle of spring on day one, and that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, I would say so too. I'm really looking forward to the progress and what we're going to hear throughout the spring. I know you guys at Auburn Undercover are going to be all over it. So our viewers, our listeners can check out Jason and that great staff there for all of the info and updates on Auburn spring and, of course, Auburn baseball and Auburn basketball. Big win on Tuesday night, fell behind, but came back and won comfortably, moving on, advancing in the NIT. Obviously disappointed that they didn't make the NCAA tournament, but I said this earlier in the week, Jason. I know there was a lot of lobbying and a lot of talk about why people thought Auburn should get into the tournament. They didn't make it, but what I thought was a really good look for Auburn, they didn't give us this, I'm taking our ball and going home, and we got our lip poked out that we didn't make it. Okay, we'll play in the NIT, and we'll host a game, and we'll play an in-state school. Doesn't matter. Some schools elected not to play in the NIT. I think in this case, in this scenario, I think that was a good look for Auburn from what happened to go ahead and play in the NIT. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Listen, it's, and there's been people that say, look, Auburn, you were in the Final Four last year. Look, if you're talking about the Auburn program, yes. But if you're talking about this Auburn team, this team wasn't in the Final Four last year. This team only has one player that was in the Final Four last year. This is an entirely new team, a new coach, first year as a head coach. I think the value of playing postseason basketball, no matter who it is going to be a benefit for them. And that's what I said. And look, I've had people, and look, they can tell me I'm wrong, and it's all opinion anyway. But I've had people going, look, if you're not playing for the championship, then it's worthless. Well, then I say I want that same energy when you go 8-4 in football, and the Outback Bowl comes calling. What do? You gonna turn that one down too? because it's the same scenario. I mean, it's a lot more teams involved, but like right now it's college football playoff. If you're not playing in the playoffs, then you're not playing for a championship. That's why I hate part of the world we're living in now, where it's all or nothing. Used to we talked about that. You go 9-3 and you won a bowl game, and people went, "Man, that's an awesome year." Now you go 9-3 and don't get in the playoffs. People go, "Man, should we fire the coach?" I think it's that way in basketball. Listen, I've covered Auburn for 27 years. The majority of those 27 years, the basketball season ended when the SEC tournament was over with. It's still postseason basketball, and there's still a benefit, I believe, to play in it, especially in year one for Stephen Pearl.
So, Jason, what was the skinny on Keyshawn Murphy not playing?
Yeah.
What do you think? Is it risk of injury? Was it something else? Or
my guess is an agent said, "Hey, you don't need to get hurt playing in the NIT." I think I think he probably wanted to play, and I think somebody said, "That's probably not a good idea. You're not playing for anything. You don't need to play." That's my thought. Nobody said anything. That would be my guess. Is that
he's got his body of work out there? They can see it. This wasn't going to add to his body.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what somebody told him. It's the same thing we see in those bowl games where guys go, "Look, there's nothing else you can prove." But
it made a difference. He is an absolute difference maker to me. The best player on this team this year, all around. And when he went well, Auburn went well.
I agree. And I thought that at times when they played through him, they were the best version of this team. When they didn't, and when it became shoot a bunch of threes, then I thought that's when they got off track a little bit. It worked out for him the other night playing against a team that said, "Look, we're not going to let you put it inside." And I still thought there were opportunities for Auburn. Even again, you can create interior possessions even against the zone. They didn't do that the other night. Got away with it. But yeah, no, I thought, obviously without Keyshawn Murphy, you look and go, now it's, Philip, and they can play through Philip Yovich similar in that, but he's a back to the basket, version. He's not a guy that's going to step out there and shoot the basketball. But listen, they got some young guys that they're now getting some valuable experience in these environments. But yeah, probably, and there's no question it hurts you without Keyshawn Murphy. I think if you have him in your full strength, then you feel really good about making a deep run, and that can still happen.
So he's done, right? I mean, he's
as far as I know.
I'm saying he's out of eligibility.
Yeah, he is. So this was it, and that's what I hate. I talked to a couple of coaches that said, "Listen, I'd love to talk to 35-year-old Keyshawn Murphy and go, hey,
absolutely.
You do realize this may be the last meaningful basketball game you ever played in. You might play overseas, you might play somewhere, but it's still not going to be like this game would be to you."
He's not getting drafted.
No.
I mean, he now that's not to say he won't play in the league. I mean, he's the type of player you could see somehow coming up through G League or overseas and getting back to the league.
Yeah.
Because he has the skills to do it. But, I don't know. It's unfortunate, but that's what we're dealing with these days, right?
It is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Whether it's football, basketball, you see the opt-outs, and you certainly don't like to see that. Jason, earlier this week, Las Vegas came out with win totals for the upcoming college football season. I got to tell you, I was a little surprised at the number they placed on Auburn at 6.5. I think Auburn's well over 6.5 wins this year. I know the schedule is tough in spurts, but I think this team can win 7 games, and I'm leaning more toward 8. I think Vegas has this number too low. What do you think?
And I think there's opportunities. The thing is that you just don't really know what teams look like right now. It's just a crapshoot is all it is.
Yeah.
And you can't base anything on last year because everything's different. You used to be able to do those things where you went, here's what they were last year, here's what's back, and here's what they got. Like, you just have no idea. Because I'd love to see what Indiana's win total was 2 years ago going into the 2024 season. I bet it was 5 or less. So you just don't know. And so you bring in veteran guys. You think that, listen, here's what I think. I think this is a roster that's better from 1 to 50 than it was last year. You're probably not as good 1 to 10, but I think you're better 1 to 50. That, to me, that's more valuable. And so I think you're deeper roster. Can you win close games? Can the offense be what you think it's going to be? You do those things. Healthy Alex McPherson right now kicking the ball really well. You feel like, look, there's been opportunities the last 3 or 4 years to get to 7 or 8 without any issues at all, not even breaking outside the box, and you didn't do it. I feel like this team can get to those numbers if you have some of those things that happen that haven't happened the last couple of years.
You know, it's interesting, Jason, you bring that up. You know, I'm looking at some of the other teams. You know, Georgia's 9.5, Alabama's 8.5. Excuse me. Texas, who a lot of people are hyping up, they're 9.5. You got a couple of Big Ten teams. Indiana is one of them. You mentioned them. They're at 10.5, as is Oregon. Those are two of the highest teams I've seen in terms of win total. But the one team that has the highest win total is not even in a conference, and that's Notre Dame at 11 wins. They've got them at 11. Their schedule's pretty weak, and what are they going to do? Finish in the top 12 to make the playoff?
That's it.
I still do not understand the favoritism for the Fighting Irish.
Not in 2026. It's not 1988 anymore. And look, this thing is completely changed. And so, yes, that schedule is what it is. You go like, hey, you don't want to schedule people, that's fine. But to say, look, well, you don't. All you got to do is finish in the top 12. It's pretty ridiculous, to be quite honest. And so, look, other people out here beating their brains in every week. You get to coast through a season and go 11-1. Now, 11-1 is still good, but if you go 11-1 and you don't play anybody, then you know I don't know that you deserve that right. And we'll see how it's going to work out with Notre Dame. But you feel like and pretty sure that if that team goes 11-1, they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, you would think so. Well, so much going on, Jason. I know you got a lot going on with Auburn baseball, of course. What can you tell us about the basketball team's next opponent?
Yeah, Seattle University is you know, they're in a really good basketball league when you talk about Gonzaga and St. Mary's and Santa Clara and some of those schools. And so they played some pretty good teams this year, but got a couple of bigs. It'll be an interesting game. You look at them and they got a couple of pretty solid wins. They beat Stanford earlier in the year, won a couple of those games, but they played Gonzaga and St. Mary's close, but didn't beat either one of those teams in the 4 times they played them. So, look, this is the team that you should be better at physically and athletically, but they're going to make shots and they're going to be tough and physical. And so for Auburn, you get a home game Sunday at 5:30. This NIT schedule and the way they do things is crazy because of the TV things, but not ideal. Better than 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, but see if I get a few more folks in there on a Sunday at 5:30. So it should be. I mean, it's great weather. It should be a good time to make a trip over for folks outside of town.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jason, as I mentioned, you're so busy, got so much going on with baseball, basketball, spring football as well. Let our viewers, let our listeners know how they can follow you and everybody there at Auburn Undercover.
Yep, you can check us out at auburnundercover.com, part of the 24/7 network, and find us on all the social media platforms, all those things, and find me on Twitter at ITATJason.
Jason, thank you so much, my friend. We always appreciate it. Have a good week. We'll talk next Thursday.
Yes, appreciate it, guys.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Great insight and analysis, as always, from my friend Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover. Great stuff from him. When we get to the top of the hour in about 12 minutes, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, is going to join us. Of course, spring football in Tuscaloosa is underway, but kind of taking a little hiatus during spring break for the Crimson, for the Alabama student body. Of course, the Crimson Tide basketball team playing tomorrow afternoon in the NCAA tournament. And probably won't talk a lot about Bama baseball, Gurn, because I don't think the Tide's going to be very good on the diamond this year.
Yeah, it's good. It might be a rough one this year. You know, baseball, like he said, the SEC is just stacked. I mean, so there are no gimmies, and you're, you know, and then you're using up all your best pitchers on weekend games. Then you have a midweek game against not a Big Four team, and they're good. They've got good players, and you end up losing those games too. And you're like, it starts spiraling, and you know it's tough.
So when you were a undergrad in Tuscaloosa, along with me, how many Tide baseball games did you attend? I believe Barry Schallenberger was the head coach of the Tide baseball team back in the mid '80s.
See, what you won't remember is they peaked the year before we got there.
Oh, Dave Magadan.
Dave Magadan, got to the finals of the World Series against Roger Clemens. I mean, that they peaked and then it just kind of leveled off. There was a guy from Dothan named Ted McClendon that played. They were good. They just weren't great. Craig Shipley came along from Australia. He played for the Dodgers. I mean, there were people from time to time, but back then it wasn't. I will say this: I do have some memories of the Rhino parking his big Ford truck in the back.
Chevy. It was a Chevy Blazer.
A Chevy Blazer with the top off, and sitting back there in a lawn chair, maybe having a pop or two watching.
Oh, maybe.
But
we were legal. We were legal, but I don't know if the open container law, we might have been breaking that one. But we were definitely
y'all
legal.
were legal. I was a young student, so I was. I might not have been legal at the time. I might have. I might not have. It didn't seem to matter.
You know what I remember about that game is probably I was involved in it, but just heckling the heck out of the Mississippi State center fielder because we were sitting in the outfield. I mean, just dogging this guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was a lot of fun.
No, that's not knowing what the hell the fact that Mississippi State was 10 times better than we were always has been in baseball. So
yeah. Oh heck yeah. Was Rafael Garcia on that Mississippi State team? But didn't he play for them?
I think you just made up a player. But that's okay. Yeah. So,
or who was the Clark guy that played for the Giants?
Dwight Clark, not Dwight Clark. I mean,
he played for Mississippi State.
Not Dwight Clark, but what's his name? Yeah,
that's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Bears used to be throwing out names somewhere in the ballpark. We're close. That's all we're trying to do.
No pun intended. Somewhere in the ballpark.
Somewhere in the ballpark. All right, as we are on the air, we are getting, which we know we will, a lot of entries to our 4 for 4 in the Final Four. We need the 4 teams that you think will make the Final Four and the total number of points scored in the championship game on Monday, April the 6th. If you're the winner, you will win a 4-carat diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Check this out. 4 for 4 in the Final Four for a 4-carat diamond valued at well over $4,000. Now, it's really closer to 5, but we kind of like keeping the theme of the 4s. Lyle was okay with that. He just said, hey, make sure you say well over $4,000, which we do. So get those entries in by 11 a.m. today. 11 a.m. today. We've got to have those entries in. They're coming in as we speak on the air. I'm checking the inbox. They're coming in. Our latest, Gurn, is Robbie from Greenville, has just submitted his pick. How about that?
Excellent.
Way to go, Robbie. Yeah.
I mean, if you had, all right, John, I hate to put you on the spot and ask you a question.
By the way, Gurn, my brother-in-law in Atlanta just let me know Will Clark from Mississippi State.
Believe me, I knew that going in. Dwight Clark's San Francisco 49ers.
That's right. Will Clark.
Rafael Palmeiro was the other. Thunder and Lightning.
Okay. Yeah. Thunder and Lightning.
Whatever, Rafael Alvarez or whatever you said.
Palmeiro, Garcia, that's kind of we're in the ballpark.
Kind of the same thing. All right.
Yeah, kind of the same thing.
If you had to guess,
all right,
multiple hundreds of entries so far?
Oh, no doubt. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't count them on it's actually right now we're on about the 4th page. I don't know how many entries one page will hold, but we're on the 4th page.
So I'm chuckling because I know behind the scenes that Barry typically runs the NCAA tournament thing, and
he's a little busy today.
I've got a feeling that the contest administrator is on the screen right now, and it's not me. So that ought to be interesting. I just hope the file doesn't get dumped or get corrupted or something.
Gurn, the great thing about it is I've got, I got several weeks to kind of get this working. And if some of these teams get eliminated early, those guys are eliminated, pretty much. So we're going to see how it goes. But I feel pretty confident about it. I think I can handle it. It's going to be okay.
Well, we have the accounting firm of KPMG here to audit the results. So
yes, we can certainly do that.
Like the Miss America pageant or the Oscars.
Yeah, there's not a problem at all with that. We were talking earlier, before we get to Rodney Orr, I want to mention this as well. Some other SEC teams in action today. We mentioned Vanderbilt. We mentioned Arkansas. Also, Texas going up against BYU. Texas was in the play-in game earlier this week, 11 seed going up against 6 seed BYU in Portland at the Moda Center there in Portland. A&M's taking on St. Mary's tonight as well, a 10 seed A&M, Texas A&M buckyball going up against St. Mary's. That's in Oklahoma City where Barry is located. Georgia, how about this 8-9 matchup? Number 9, St. Louis going up against 8 seed Georgia. That game in Buffalo at 8:45 tonight. So we got a pretty good slate of SEC teams playing today.
So I really watch out, even though they're a first 4 team.
Yeah.
Texas can play really well at times. They've got probably 4 really good players. They're just not very deep. And they've got some beasts on the board, and they've got a couple of really good guards. So, yeah, I mean, I could see Texas doing damage in that.
Yeah, I could too. So that should be a good matchup of SEC games tonight, and tomorrow. And I know a lot of folks are trying to frantically get their bracket completed, get their entries completed. Can't stress enough. 11 a.m. today, you've got to get yours into us at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Your final 4 teams and the total number of points scored in the championship game will be is what we are looking for. So get those to us by 11 a.m. today. Your final 4 teams, if they match up with the 4 that actually make it, you're going to be in pretty good shape. And we're using that total number of points in the championship game as a tiebreaker. Look, you don't have to tell her you won this 4-carat diamond. She doesn't need to know that. But when you present it to her, wow, holy smokes, you're in good shape, my friend. I can promise you that. You'll be in good shape here during Markdown Madness at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. What am I talking about? Well, the deals are incredible with the tournament getting started today. And the deals they're already started because the entire month of March is Markdown Madness. New 2025 Ford Explorers up to $13,000 off MSRP, as low as $33,990. The Explorer started the SUV craze back in the early 80s, and it's still going strong here at Stivers with the Explorer. 2025 Ford Broncos up to $12,000 off, as low as $33,990. You can check out the new 2025 Expeditions, load up the whole family to take them to the game, to the lake, wherever you're heading. Plenty of room. Come check them out, up to $10,000 off MSRP. 2025 Broncos Sports up to $9,000 off MSRP and as low as $25,990. And of course, the truck that sets all the standards, America's leading truck sales for 50 years in a row. Nobody's had a more popular truck than the F-150. You can get a new 2025 up to $18,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 66 months. And the 2025 F-150 Lightning up to $16,000 off MSRP or 0% for 72 months. All this and much more going on during Markdown Madness here at Stivers. We're here on a Thursday to kick off the tournament and to kick off a great weekend of car sales, truck sales, because folks, let me tell you, the weather's going to be fantastic. The selection is incredible. The sales associates are the very best. And bottom line, you hear Eddie Stivers tell us all the time, price sells cars. And I'm going to tell you, nobody's going to sell that car, truck, or SUV at a lower price than our friends here at Stivers. So come by and see them today. All right, what do you say we take a quick break? When we return, we're going to check in with the Tider Insider. He is brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. I'm going to be heading by the Destin Connection later today. You should too. Go by and see David Scott, my friends, and they'll hook you up at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead, 288-4272. Quick top of the hour timeout.
The Montgomery
Rodney
Regional
joins us
Airport is
when we
getting
return
better
after this.
the more you use it. MGM offers multiple nonstop daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Washington's Reagan National Airport via Delta and American Airlines. And beginning this April, MGM will offer daily nonstop flights to Houston's Intercontinental Airport via United Airlines. All of these cities offer easy connections to destinations all over the country and all over the world. Make travel more cost-effective and less stressful when you utilize your Montgomery Regional Airport. MGM, you can get there from here.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today. I'm live at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Gurn Sr. pitch hitting for Barry McKnight, who is on the road with Troy basketball in Oklahoma City, the Trojans and the Huskers later this morning in NCAA tournament basketball action. And, of course, joining us now, as he always does on Thursdays, is our man Rodney Orr. He's brought to you by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Your Central Alabama source for live or spicy boiled crawfish is the Destin Connection here in Montgomery. And you know what? They've dropped prices 50 cents per pound. Gas prices are going up, but crawfish prices have dropped 50 cents per pound this week at the Destin Connection. Call today to place your order for live crawfish to be picked up on Fridays or Saturdays. The spicy boiled are already here. Just stop by the market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road, or call ahead, 288-4272 for the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Hey, Rodney, thanks for joining us here today. As I mentioned, Barry's traveling with Troy basketball. Our friend Gurn Sr. is hopping on to pinch hit for him today. Hope you're doing well, Rodney.
I'm doing well. I hope the both of you are too.
Oh, yeah. Doing great. Let's start basketball first. I've been asked all week about it, Rodney. I'm obviously not in Tuscaloosa, but certainly have a lot of people that are there. Got a text last week with a photo, as a matter of fact, of Aiden Holloway being pulled over for a traffic violation. And then 6 days later, he is arrested for a large amount of marijuana in his residence. What's the feeling? What's the story? What are you hearing in Tuscaloosa about this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of low key in terms of just the information and the details other than what you just mentioned there. I mean, obviously he's until he can go through the student council, the review there that they do, which they can't do this week. A lot of people say, well, why can't that be done this week? It's because spring break. So they do not do those during spring break. So that's one issue there. That said, of course, he's been removed from campus until, this is officially done, and then we'll see where it goes from there. I just think, John, to be honest with you, things just have to play out and see how this kind of ends up going.
Yeah, we were talking to Jason Caldwell from Auburn Undercover in the first hour, and Gurn asked him about Keyshawn Murphy, and was it just a case of just opting out and somebody got in his ear and said, you don't need to play, you've got a body of work, people know what you can do to get to the next level. And I think, Aiden Holloway's situation is similar in this regard. Selfish. Letting teammates down, whether you're leaving and not playing because you think you can go on to bigger and better things, or you're doing something illegal that if you get caught, which he did, you're going to jeopardize your playing future as well as your teams. I think it's just very selfish, and we see a lot of players in this day and age that I believe are selfish.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he made a really bad decision, or some bad decisions that led to this. And you're right. I mean, it is selfish. First of all, he hurts himself, puts himself in a very bad situation. Then his coaches that count on him, his teammates that count on him. He's the second leading scorer on this team. He's the best 3-point shooter Alabama has. For the last 11 games, he's been the leading scorer. So there's a lot that on the court he meant to this team. And again, he let himself down, and he's let his teammates down. Now, here's the thing. John and Barry, I think a lot of times what we see, frankly, I'm sorry, Barry's not with you today. But John, what we see is that kids get in these situations and they see that a lot of this is sometimes, it happens and they're back on the court.
Yeah.
There's no real teeth to this, to the punishment at times. So, it'll be real interesting to see what his situation is. I already hear people now. Again, I'm not speculating this because I don't know, but there's already a lot of speculation that he's just going to transfer somewhere else as soon as the season's over, and everything will be okay. So again, I guess we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I guess we will. I can't imagine him being back on the Alabama team, but I've seen stranger things before.
But now I will say this, John. I did talk to an attorney yesterday about it, and he certainly, again, he admitted that he didn't have all the facts, but he kind of said, "Listen, there's a chance that he could be back." So I don't know. I mean, again, I think right now with some of the other things that have happened around this program, that would probably be a really bad look.
So, Rodney, who steps up? Who do you see as being the prime candidates to really amp it up and get more minutes and quality minutes?
Well, I think, first of all, LeBaron Philon and Latrell Wrightsell, they're going to carry a heavier load. There's no doubt. The one thing is they do have good depth in the backcourt. I think that you look at those two. You look at Houston Millette, who can does an outstanding job. Then I think Amari Allen is a guy with his versatility. The feeling is, okay, he can play on the perimeter. He can handle the basketball. He can help you out there. So I think those guys mainly, and there's some talk about Alabama going big a little bit more. Maybe that means Noah Williamson gets more minutes. We'll see. But the one good thing I would say about all this is that Nate Oates has played a lot of different combinations throughout the year. He's had to. There's been injuries. So that could be beneficial as where we are right now. Again, we'll see. But that certainly could be beneficial.
So I'm a body language guy. And in watching Alabama for the last 10 or 15 years, I have never seen a better body language guy than Houston Millette. He is, if he's not going to be a coach, nobody will be a coach. He is positive. He supports his teammates. He seems like he's just the right guy. The situation step up.
I agree with you. Now, again, just looking at it, watching him, you said body language. I would say what he appears to bring in terms of leadership, fire, energy, passion, all of those things. You see that he exhibits that on the court. I mean, he's a guy he gets after it. And I think he does inspire those around him. So I would agree with you that Millett is a guy that could be really key, be a great opportunity for him, to really be productive.
Yeah, got Hofstra tomorrow afternoon. Certainly a game you would think Alabama could win. The next one, looking ahead, Akron or Texas Tech. We talked about it earlier, Rodney. We think Akron's one of these teams that could have an upset early. And I think Texas Tech's a team ripe to get beat. So Bama fans that maybe are thinking Texas Tech could be their next opponent, if they get by Hofstra tomorrow, might need to look at Akron as well, because that might be their opponent on Sunday.
Well, first of all, John, I don't think Hofstra's lost a game since January 29th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bama better be careful there first, obviously.
Sure.
But looking forward, I mean, Akron is 29-4, I think their record is overall. They're a really good team. You're right. I mean, these first round games sometimes can be very tricky. So, this is going to be a real interesting weekend, I think, for Alabama basketball to see how they respond in this. I've kind of had them going Sweet 16, John. You asked me, I think a week or two ago, what I think the ceiling was. And I said probably Sweet 16, just to be realistic.
Sure.
And, so this weekend's going to be some interesting matchups and see how Alabama basketball responds.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here, Rodney. I think you and I both agree. If they make it to the Sweet 16, they're more than likely going to face Michigan. They're not beat Michigan. Michigan, to me, is just so good, so solid, a team that just Alabama doesn't match up well with. Looking ahead, I think that's about as far as they can go if they can win two.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a betting man, that would kind of be where I would be leaning.
Right.
All right. Spring football has started. They're on break now because the students are out this week for spring holidays. What did you pick up in the first part of the spring practice? What are some of the high points? Maybe what are some of the low points?
Right. Well, John, I think this, and we had one media viewing period that lasted about 12 minutes, I think it was. So, just getting a glimpse of them on the hoof. I mean, I think David Ballou and his strength and conditioning staff did a fantastic job. They really, as a team, look good on the hoof. Okay, with that said, talking to some sources that were basically at every practice, they had 4, just said, look, these two quarterbacks, Keelan Russell and Austin Mack, of course, Mack's probably, if you looked at it right now, you would say he's the number one guy in the pecking order. And again, it's just tentatively, but they're elite passers. And I feel really confident in the people that I spoke to about these guys, and they were very, very upbeat. Quarterback should not be an issue for Alabama. Again, there is a lack of experience, so it's but just their tools are there. They're confident in what they're doing. So that said, my next question was, can the offensive line protect them? And you look, because Alabama's going to have 4 new starters. And that's the big question. It's too early to answer, where this offensive line, how it's going to develop. I mean, obviously they've got a lot of talent up front, but how they develop remains to be seen. On the defensive side, I think the question, obviously you lost 3 defensive linemen, your 3 defensive line starters. Those guys, the new guys that they brought in, Terrence Green from Oregon, Devin Tompkins from USC, Kedrick Bingley-Jones from Mississippi State. I think everyone's, pretty impressed with them, think they can be a very solid group in terms of, being added to the returning guys that they have. So the question is, though, John, is inside backer. You lost your 3 most experienced guys, and, you've got a lot of youth there, a lot of inexperience. Of course, they did bring in the transfer, Caleb Woodson from Virginia Tech, who was very productive there. He's brought a lot of leadership. But John, the feedback I get is they look a little smallish on the inside.
Oh, wow.
at inside backer. So again, we'll see. It's kind of different. They're very athletic, very fast, but the feeling was, hey, they look a little smallish for SEC inside backers.
That'll be something interesting to take a look at throughout the remainder of the spring and into preseason camp. And I've heard some talk about linebacker position, need a little bit more depth there. So certainly an area of concern, and we'll keep an eye out on it. Hey, letting everybody know that the Destin Connection Seafood Market is your one-stop shop for live and spicy boiled crawfish. And David has dropped the price 50 cents per pound. Hey, gas prices are up, but crawfish prices are coming down this week at the Destin Connection. Call today to place your order for live crawfish to be picked up tomorrow or Saturday. The spicy boiled are already at the location, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead 288-4272 for your order to be picked up. I'm heading over to the Destin Connection later today. You should as well. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, bringing you Rodney Orr each and every week. Rodney, your thoughts about Ryan Grubb going ahead and saying, hey, we've got our left tackle. His name's Jackson Lloyd. Competition's over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I have to admit, it was surprising. That's different. That's not what we're conditioned to hearing, right? I mean, we've heard Nick Saban say competition. There's no depth chart. Nobody has a job. And, for him to come out when he was asked and say there is none, referring to competition, was a little surprising. You're talking about a guy that was a true freshman last year, played a little bit, not a ton. Now, he is very gifted. I can tell you that there's a lot of people you talk to that think he is a potential first-round draft pick at left tackle in the future. So, we'll see on that. Now, I will say this, John, and here's the thing. A lot of people have said, well, you go out, you get Javen James from Mississippi State. He started 9 games last year in the SEC at left tackle. He's got the experience. I mean, what kind of message does that send to him when he comes over here and now all of a sudden he's told he's not going to be allowed to compete? Well, here's what's going on. As I dug into it a little bit, don't be surprised if Javen James ends up at right tackle. At least they're giving him a strong look there, or going to give him a strong look there. And Michael Carroll, who of course started half the season last year at right tackle as a true freshman, his natural position is really on the inside at guard. And if you remember, Grubb also said last week, he made the comment, he said, Michael Carroll can play several positions up front. So you could see Carroll slide into guard, Javen James at right tackle. They're working Nick Brooks at right tackle too, as the transfer from Texas, but he can also play either guard spot. So they've got a little flexibility there. So that comment, when you put it into that context, John, it doesn't really hit me the same way, because I see what they're doing. They're trying to, get guys lined up, their 5 best guys.
Makes sense. I mean, I certainly get that. That makes sense. Rodney, earlier this week, Las Vegas released their win totals for the 2026 college football season. They've got Alabama at 8.5. Is that number right in your mind?
My first thought on that, John, that number's dropping every year. I mean, last year it was 9.5? It was 10.5 the year before. I think it was 10. So, look, I think right now with all the questions, now with that said too, now when I say there's a lot of questions, just think every team, we focus on Alabama, but every team's in transition because of this portal and all of this. So what I would say is this: if you just look at it on the surface, I think that's obviously a fair number. It's a tough schedule, the second half especially. Alabama needs to start out 5-0 because it looks like those first 5 are very winnable games for Alabama. So we'll see what happens there, but I think it's a fair number right now as we look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That half point is a little interesting. I mean, I certainly could see this team winning 9 games. If they only win 8, you know as well as I do, Rodney, the fan base will be going crazy. But you're right. It's not just Alabama's number that's kind of ticked down a little bit as well. I was looking at some of the other teams as well, Rod. I mean, Georgia, 9.5 is their win total. Texas, 9.5. Those are the highest numbers for SEC teams. You go to the Big Ten, Indiana is at 10.5. Oregon is at 10.5. But the team that really surprised me, Rodney, not even in a conference, Notre Dame's win total 11.5. I mean, they only play 12 regular season games, but if you look at Notre Dame's schedule, you can see why they're at 11.5. And here's a program that, heck, they got to win. They finish in the top 12. They're automatically in the college football playoff. I just don't get it, Rodney. Why all the preferential treatment for Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been through the years, I think, that we've seen things like that happen for them. But, looking at their team, I mean, obviously I haven't really gone through their schedule, but it's not been very strong. And it's apparently not very strong again this year. But I was talking to somebody yesterday who told me, yeah, Notre Dame's going to be a runaway number one choice, which I was kind of thinking, John, Texas, it's a big year for Sark.
Sure.
And they've invested well in the portal, high school over the last few years. They're pretty loaded. Arch Manning's ready to take that next step. So I kind of had Texas up there a little bit. So that's one to watch because this is a big year. They've got some challenges in the SEC. So, we'll see. Now, my question, John, because I don't have it in front of me, I would be curious to know what LSU's total is.
Well, I can certainly tell you that because I've got it right here in front of me. LSU for 2026 is 8.5. Same number as Alabama.
That's interesting. It's going to be interesting because I think Lane's got, he's going to have a ton of talent down there. They really invested in the portal. So that'll be another one to watch.
And of course, it's very early, as you well know, Rodney. I mean, these numbers are going to move through spring practice, through summer, through preseason drills. They're going to wiggle around a little bit. But if this is a number that you like today, you can certainly bet on it if you're in a state that will allow stuff like that to happen legally, which unfortunately we're one of the few. 39 other states let you do it. Alabama has yet to figure that out yet. But I don't want to get off on that soapbox. Gurn, before we let Rodney go, anything that we missed that maybe we need to pass Rodney's way?
All right, Rodney. I asked the weird questions. Special teams.
Yeah, great question.
Anything jump out to you? Because by God, everybody seems to focus when it goes bad, and all you want is something that just goes regular, right?
You're right. And the early, it's funny you mentioned the special teams because, one of my primary sources told me he was very concerned about it, based on the practice observations that he's had. He's very concerned about not necessarily the specialist, but just, overall coverage units and all of those things. They just had some real snafus last year, and they have had. And I think that it's something they really have to shore up this year. And again, until we see consistency in those special teams, there's going to be doubters. And, so I know that Nunez is back as a special teams coach, and, we'll see how that goes this year.
Yeah, those special teams can bite you. Got to have those tightened up. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Rodney, before we let you go, let our listeners, let our viewers know how they can find you at Tider Insider and all the other platforms to stay in touch with everything going on with Crimson Tide Athletics.
Right. It's TiderInsider.com. It's only $48 a year, and you can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check, and that gives you all of our premium information. But also right now, our sports forum, all sports forums are really rolling. Basketball, and all of those things. It, like we say, John, it never really ends on TiderInsider.com.
No, it never does. It's been going like this for about 30 years on TI. I can promise you. Hey, Rodney, as always, we appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll talk next week.
Okay, guys. Hey, I really appreciate it. Take care.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Great insight and analysis, as always, from Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider. All right, when we come back, hey, it's the Phantoms Daily Dog. What a finish last night. We'll tell you about that when we return. We've also got today's selection. Bart Heisch, our resident college basketball expert, joins us here in about 7 or 8 minutes. Looking forward to what Bart thinks about the tournament kicking off today. Of course, he played for Mississippi State's Final Four team. He knows a little bit about the sport. We'll check in with him. I'm here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, where Price sells cars. Markdown madness is going on. You can get America's best-selling truck, has been for over 50 years. New 2025 F-150s up to 18 grand off MSRP or 0% APR for 66 months. Come check them all out. A huge selection of F-150s on the lot now here at Stivers in Montgomery.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us. There was some talk on the River Region Straw chat line wanting to know where was way offsides Jeff today. Well, I can tell you where he just left. He brought me some coffee again today from our friends at 7 Brew. Jeff, man, if we're here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, he is bringing the coffee. Knows I love it. Of course, Barry not here today, so we didn't bring the green tea for Barry. But Jeff, appreciate that as always.
John, I didn't get any. I guess I just better go hit my Nespresso machine that I just got. Just got a couple weeks ago.
I think you need to come out here to Stivers with me. Would be pretty good too. All right. See Tobias from out in Arizona's hopped on. Tobias, glad to see you here today. Tobias, about your special teams question, Gurn. One sneaky issue with Alabama in 25 was special teams. They constantly lost the field position battle. Yeah, Tobias, very astute there. You got to keep winning those field position battles. I don't know, Gurn, I know you're a basketball guy. I don't know if you watched any of the George Washington at Utah Valley game on ESPN Plus last night, some NIT action.
So, John, do you know what Utah Valley's called? Is UVU.
UVU.
UVU is what it's called.
Did not know that. Matter of fact, Gurn, I didn't even know there was a Utah Valley till I saw this game on the board yesterday.
Yeah, well, I know. So, somebody we both know, their daughter went to UVU for a little while. So,
really, man,
yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful part of the.
That's how I know about it. So yeah, no, it's all right. So
I know we've snow skied together and played. We've never snow skied in Park City together, have we?
You stayed at my place in Park City. You don't remember that?
Okay, I remember. I knew something. I knew Utah Park City right about. I've never forgiven you for getting rid of that place. I don't know why you did that.
Well, probably the best business decision we ever made and the worst decision we ever made. We sold it before the Olympics. So I mean,
what are you thinking? Now, is it true, Gurn? Is it true that I actually stayed there before you had actually stayed there?
No, I don't believe so. Maybe a day, but so the story was, and it's a quick story. Pork Chop, John Thomas, and I went to ski in Park City one time, and we're walking out, and we go by a real estate place, and they got a condo for sale for $66,000. And I'm in law school, John's in law school, and Clyde's working. And we said, okay. And the lady said, we'll sell her finance. One of the three, I didn't have any money. John didn't have any money. The other guy had $22,000. So we put that down. We never paid a dime for like 3 or 4 years and then sold it. It was, it's rented it out. And I mean, look, I've never had an investment since that made money. So it was like, it was the best of the best.
Well, it was a good spot. I remember that. One more from Tobias before we move on. He said he flew into Montgomery, and he said it took him only 20 minutes to get his bag and his rental car. He said in Atlanta, you'll have to take a train to bag his claim and another train to the rental car. It'll take you over an hour. Tobias, you're right. That's why you need to start and end your journeys at the Montgomery Regional Airport. Okay, here's the deal, Barry. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, Gurn. We had George Washington last night as an underdog, hence the Phantoms Daily Dog, catching 2.5. They win the game outright at Utah Valley, 79-78. Great game last night. Way to go, George Washington, cashing yet another ticket. The Phantom is undefeated throughout this week. We're 3-0. With 3 straight winners this week, and we're going to do it again tonight today. So act early, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to Oklahoma City where the Troy Trojans are taking on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is a 13.5-point favorite today. Now, Gurn, you mentioned it yesterday. Nebraska started out hot. Then they went 6-6 in their last 12 games, leaking oil a little bit. I was very disappointed in Nebraska's performance against Purdue last Friday. That bit the Phantom. Not that we're going to take revenge on the Cornhuskers, but we like this Troy team. Really like Scott Cross, their head coach. I like their team. I think they got some really, really good scrappy players. This Troy team, 22-11. They won the Sun Belt Conference at 12-6 in league, 22-11 overall. I really like what I'm seeing out of Troy. They've won their last 4. Let me make sure I got it. Let me double check that. They've won their last 4 games. Has Troy. I'm taking the 13.5, Gurn, and the Troy Trojans to cover this morning against Nebraska in Oklahoma City. I like the Trojans.
All right, John, I see we got Bart in the green room. I'm going to throw it out. Troy goes, and this is my Harry Potter reference, as the Weasley brothers, the Weasley twins go. And if you know Harry Potter, they got a couple of kids that can fill it up that look like the Weasleys. So there you go. Anyway.
So we got 2 taking the Trojans. All right, there's our man Bart. I know he's in transit today. He is heading to some tournament action. Man, he's got the sunglasses on. He's got the stocking cap. Man, Bart, you are rolling, looking good today, my man. Tell us about it. What's happening?
Man, well, I'm in the worst city in America, definitely in Alabama. Hamilton, Alabama, arch rival.
Oh, man.
I'm staring. Go ahead.
Right there off Interstate 22.
Well, it used to be old 78. Now it's 22. Mississippi finished their part of it a long time before we did. But I'm staring at the Huddle House, the Quality Inn in Hamilton, Alabama, about 20 minutes from the Mississippi line, headed to St. Louis to watch Queen's University. And, hey, not to, really mess anybody up because I'm not Phantom status since I have retired from my wagering status after my parlay hit with Indiana. I might even sprinkle a little bit on Troy on the first half. Money line.
Uh-huh.
I like them almost to win the game outright, guys. I mean, they're not going to get pumped. They're not going to get punked. We had Scott Cross on the show, and they're a team that people could fall in love with because of their toughness, and they match up well with Nebraska. 13's a lot, so I like that side of things. But I'm going up here to watch the Queens Royals, guys.
I hear you. I heard Scott Cross on a Sirius XM interview earlier this week, Bart. And I told Barry, I mean, I sat in the parking lot listening to it. I was so interested in it. And Scott Cross came across to me in that interview as just quietly confident. I mean, he wasn't, boasting and, beating his chest. But I could just tell in what he was saying. I think he's pretty happy with this team and thinks they got a good shot.
Well, he's got the toughest matchup at times on the floor that's not a guard. Every night in Thomas Dowd, and he knows that. Local kid, but just the
Wiregrass kid.
A Wiregrass kid. I did his games in high school when they came up to the state tournament a couple of times. And the two things about Scott Cross to me, we had him on our show a couple of times actually in the last couple of months, actually this week, and toughness and retention. That's the two things he's really good at teaching. Both of those. These kids want to stay and play for him. That's not going on everywhere else. They lost the player of the year last year in the conference. It was one of the most sought after guys in the country in Conway. And then that, lost the Rigsby kids and I think one more kid, but these kids have been in the program. They want to play. They're progressing, they're developing, and we're not always seeing that at, single places. And so I just like the mentality I really like their play-by-play announcer. I think he's great too. But
good.
A lot of people are on them. I don't 100% love that, but Troy is a good basketball team. They've won the conference, a league that's, I've done games the last 3 years in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's a good league. There's good players in this league. And so I'm anxious to see. I actually like that they're playing when they're playing. Early in the morning, kicking off the tournament. I think Coach Cross liked that as well. So yeah, man, I agree with you. I could see them doing some big things today.
Bart, obviously some big news in these parts is the dismissal of Aiden Holloway. I've characterized it as selfish. He's let his team down. He's let his university down. Having said all that, how does this team operate without him? How successful can they be without him?
We had Brian Passing talking to him about it, and it's just kind of a deflation deal, if that's a word. Yeah. I don't necessarily know that you've heard the end of this. We've had Ron Slay said he might expect him, if they make it the next weekend, to be back. So, there's just all kinds of different things. I don't think we know the whole story. I hate it for the kid. At the same time, Nate Oates, to people that I know, has stated, man, he's the best kid, and it's just it's unfortunate. I want to know the whole story before I'm passing judgment. Can they absorb it? Absolutely. 100%. They've got a first-round pick at some point, definitely if he stays, in Allen. So I like him. I think Bethea, he has not blossomed. He's a McDonald's All-American, not getting a lot of minutes. That's an opportunity. We know what Wrightsell is. And I actually think Jemison is a huge key here, because if he can play that too, that makes them bigger on the perimeter defensively. And, that's what Alabama's got to do to me. They're going to make shots, whoever it is. Yeah, this is probably your best shooter from the outside, but you got dudes who can make shots, man. And if you take care of the basketball, Aiden Holloway turns it over at times. So if, he's small, if Alabama can take care of the ball and get bigger defensively, I told Pasick, I like them as a Sweet 16 team, because you're catching a Texas Tech without one of the top players in the country. That's a good draw for Alabama. So if you're going to meet Michigan, you've got to beat Michigan from the perimeter, as Purdue showed, and then pound them inside and then play inside out. You've got to be able to do both. Can Sherrill do that? You know, you're limited at times. I think you may see Alabama go to some guard matchups too, try to get some post-up opportunities. I don't know why Nate hasn't done that. Well, one reason because he doesn't like 15-footers. But Allen could post up anybody that's going to guard him. And so I'm not done with Alabama just yet. I do hate it for Aiden Holloway, but I also do think there's just more to the story that's going to come out.
All right, before we move on, you are getting a lot of reaction on our River Region Straw chat line for your Rolling Stone t-shirt. They want to know if you can show us a little bit more of that.
Oh, whoa, really now? I don't know if I'm in my modeling. Yeah, man, this one's old school.
Yeah.
Do it on. Hey, you'll love this. I'm actually meeting a fifth grade crush today that I haven't seen in 40 years, John Longshore, up on the other side of Memphis. So I went Rolling Stones. I can't remember. I've got a guy. It's called Rediscover the Balance on Instagram. It's my boy B, and just hit him up on Instagram. That's where I got all my old school shirts. He's got everything. Like if you like old Timberwolves, old Hornets stuff from back in the 90s, he's really into that kind of stuff. So yeah, man, Auburn, Alabama stuff. Yeah. Rediscover the Balance is the name of it. So yeah, thanks for the compliment. That makes me feel good about things, John, on the way up.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, the fans are loving it here on the chat line. Bart, should Auburn have made the tournament?
I mean, no. I mean, their players don't even want to play. You know?
Yeah, well,
I
was going to ask you about that too.
Hadn't heard from him. Reached out just to make sure he was okay. It goes back to the whole, they signed up to play for BP. I mean, we've heard the kids say that. So, like, Stephen was in a tough spot. I think Stephen actually managed it really well. The Mississippi State loss is the one that got him. Because we talked about that last week about SMU going to Mississippi State and winning. That had to be in the minds of those committee members. I mean, in SMU, we saw what they were last night. I do think Auburn was a better basketball team, but the resume just didn't stack up. And anybody that really doesn't have I guess, a heart, family felt thought process toward it kind of has agreed. I mean, if Charles Barkley's agreeing Auburn shouldn't be in, that's really all I need to know.
Yeah.
So what's Keyshawn's next step? Where do you see him? Europe, D-League? He doesn't get drafted, does he?
No, I don't think he gets drafted. I don't still think he's really been healthy his entire career, especially after the gunshot in Birmingham. And so I don't really know. I think he steps back. And that had to be a blow, to go. I mean, Auburn was at times this year. I mean, think about how you felt as a player and even as a staff when they went to Florida and won. And then all of a sudden, it's just like you all of a sudden just poured out a pitcher of water. It's totally over, and your schedule was favorable. They had locker room issues all year. They don't really have a true point guard. Ball sets the stick. They got too many left-handed dudes that have to have the ball in their hands. I don't think they got enough out of Overton. I think his year in Auburn could have been better. And they had talent, and that's what's tough about it. But, guys, it is navigating different personalities year by year, meeting by meeting, that these kids, you don't get to know them like you used to. And I just think it's a product of that. I actually think Stephen did a pretty good job. I think it's just a product of the whole year finally caught up with kind of just how, the unknowns and uncertainties of things. It finally just caught up with them a little bit.
All right, John, I got to take 2 seconds here in case we run out of time. Fanboy Gurn here. All right, Bart. In the early 90s, 3 guys asked me to help them set up this thing called the Final Four in Alabama. We brought the boys and girls all together at the BJCC. All right. I watched a young Bart Heitch play. Now, everybody knows you talked about the R.C. Hatch game, right?
Absolutely.
My memory is the semifinal game.
Good memory. That's a better memory.
And that was a good memory. I also remember the midnight start for the R.C. Hatch game. But tell me about was it Daleville? Who'd y'all play?
The local
How
folks
many
in
did you have?
Holtville, the local folks in Holtville will remember the Ezel brothers and cousins, and I played against
How many did you put up?
Willie, Orlando, and Edward. That night it was against Edward and Willie. I think that was triple-double night, John Longshore. I think that was 36, 14, 11, and 8, I think.
Wow. What a
only game I ever found out of. But we actually, when Nona scored 101 the other night, they was talking about that's the only time, and I was like, I don't know if that's the only time they've been 100 scored in this building now in this tournament. And we had scored 105 in that game, and they brought it up. Well, unfortunately, we didn't win it. Ran into Hatch and Francis Mary, and a lot of your listeners know the area, man. And there was some ballers down there back then. And we had some stuff going on too that we weren't able to do. But thank you for bringing that up, man. That game. All
right.
Yeah, that was a good couple of games in a row until we got to Hatch for sure.
All right. Second question is, who's the greatest player ever come out of Jackson Prep?
Oh my gosh, what sport?
We have basketball. We have a mutual friend.
Well, Whit Hughes is going to say him, and David Rula is going to say him.
Well,
and so
Whit Hughes has always
I'm
said that.
I'm going to go with my boy Rula, because he was a lot more athletic than Whit and a lot better dunker than Whit. So
there you go. I had to get that in. Sorry, John. That was some personal.
No, hey, that's great stuff. I love it. Oh, it's fantastic.
Rula is the grotto king in Mountain Brook. He's the one that's got the grotto at his pool overlooking Mountain Brook Country Club, John. Where Doc
sweet. Yeah, in the land of Doc Artie, exactly, the kingdom. All right, Bart.
Whit won't like that.
Bart, give me an SEC school that's going to surprise some people, maybe go further than the experts are predicting.
I mean, I think people are predicting Arkansas, so I can't really say them. I like Kentucky's matchup in the first game. John, I think it's Alabama. But I also don't see a SEC team. I mean, Florida getting to the Final Four is not a surprise, right?
Yeah, no.
You know, Vandy beating Florida at Vandy maybe. You know, but I just feel like people are going to write Alabama off because of this Aiden Holloway thing. And we have watched Nate Oates galvanize his team through situations. He thrives in this, man. I mean, this is not the first deal with them. And the way they play is different. I don't like the way A&M's playing. I want it to be Missouri so bad I can't stand it. And I've ridden with Missouri all year, but they've just played so bad on the perimeter offensively in the last few games. And but I think Missouri's size can absolutely overwhelm some people. So, you know, I would kind of throw them in there a little bit. Tennessee is someone nobody's talking about that got a pretty good draw, actually. And so I'm going to say throw up orange. I'm going to say throw up orange just because nobody else is.
All right, Bart, I watched Kentucky play in person at the SEC tournament, and they suck. They really are
not very good, man.
They don't run an offense. Offense. They don't do anything. They don't play defense. And the blue fans around me were pissed. I mean, they were disgruntled. They didn't like what they saw, and it's just not good.
For that money that they spent, you would think they'd be a lot better.
$22 million roster. You gotta do better.
I mean, and how about that it's Kentucky and Indiana? And by the way, I have never bought DeVries, the coach or the player. I saw them 2 or 3 years ago out in Nebraska when I did a state game out there, and it was 4 degrees, and I slipped and fell coming out of the hotel or Airbnb. It was awful. And we got beat by Drake. It was terrible. So maybe that kind of shaped it, John. You know how that can go on a good golf course and a bad golf course.
Yeah.
But, you know, I ain't bought them all year, man. I really haven't. And I do think it showed up a little bit when they lost Lowe, the little point. I think he, by the end of the year, would have been a really, really good piece that could get downhill, create his. They don't really have nobody that can create for anybody else. That's what the problem is. And that's why it looks so stagnant and they're not running a lot. People don't run stuff like we used to run. Like I've talked to Scott Padgett about this, the offensive coordinator at Mississippi State, about like, bro, you got a 7'3" dude down or 7'2" dude down there. Why not run some kind of cross screen, downstream action? Get a shooter coming off, shot fake it, little post feed action, little post feed under the basket. We don't see none of that stuff anymore. And Kentucky could actually do that. They've got long enough guards to where they could, if they would teach how to post feed and teach angles and just the old school way of playing. It's too wide open. Now, I do like Chandler at times. I think he should be more assertive. When he's really assertive offensively and really like catch and shoot guy, try to go create shots. He's physical. He's kind of a dynamic that helps Owe. Owe's going to get you 20, but that's really the only creation that you've got. So, they're not a great passing team on the interior from a post standpoint. Not a lot of back to your basket guys scoring the basketball. Diabate's not one of those guys. So, I agree with you. I can't disagree with that. I don't think they're all that either. But I do like them in that first matchup, though. I do like them in that first matchup.
Bart, I know you're on the road heading to St. Louis, you said? Heading to St. Louis?
St. Louis via Brookhaven, Tennessee.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
Look at these nice ones here in Hamilton. How y'all doing? Go Aggies.
Have a safe trip. Before we let you go, let our viewers and listeners know how they can follow you at Heish Hoops.
Yeah, it's Heish Hoops is kind of the handle on Twitter, but it's at BHYCHE22 and on Instagram at BHYCHE_22. Go hit up Rediscover the Ballots. My guy Brody will take care of you on that, by the way. He's a good dude. But yeah, at BH22 and then pressboxradio.com. Go Queens. Go Queens Royals. My guy Grant Leonard, he'll have on a great sweater.
Love it. Love it. Safe travels, Bart. We'll talk next week, my friend. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bart.
Man, great stuff from Bart Heish. Played on Mississippi State's Final Four team. He knows his hoops. All right. Got to take a break. When we come back, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We don't know what these topics are. We're seeing them for the first time, as you will. We'll break those down when we return. I'm at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. It's markdown madness. It's going on now where price sells cars. Stivers Ford back right after this.
It's Ram Truck Month at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. New Rams $20,000 off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy duties $12,000 off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. The Declaration of Deals sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokees, Grand Cherokee L's, and Gladiators up to $15,000 off, and Wranglers $13,000 off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in. Glad you're with us here, Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell all your friends, tell all your enemies. It doesn't matter. We want them to hit the like and subscribe button. Always check us out at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com on their Facebook page, our Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes. You can check it out, view it, listen to it on your time when it's convenient for you. We do it live from 7 to 9, but we certainly see the large majority of our viewers and listeners do it throughout the day on their schedule. That is the beauty of this format. All right, I see, Gurn, we got 6 topics there on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We don't know what they're about. What do you say we take a spin and see what we got today? Looking like hitting 900. Whoa, how do you do that?
Messi.
Okay.
Messi's about to play his have his 900th cap, as they say. He is obviously, when you talk about sports icons in all of sports, he has to be in the top 10. He just is. And the fact he's come over to Inter Miami and done what he's done at late in his career is just fantastic. He could have taken a lot more money. It could take a lot more money and go on to Saudi Arabia or somewhere else. And he decided to come to the U.S. Anyway.
Good for him.
So, here we go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, good for him. We got a little soccer to kick things off. Let's check out the next topic. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Gurn Jr. puts it together. We don't know what these topics are. You're seeing them as we are for the first time. Electric. Huh. Let's hope it's not Electric Avenue. Oh, what do we got here?
Pat Sartain.
With Jaylen Waddle
and Pat Sartain. So they're going to be going, Patrick and Jaylen are going to be going against each other in practice one-on-one.
Uh-huh.
That's going to be pretty intense.
I would say it would be. Yeah.
You know, and Patrick Sartain is one of those guys that he could be one of the best DBs ever to come out of Alabama.
I'm with you.
He didn't get the love, but everybody knew he was great and he was really good, but I always thought he was a little underappreciated, but you didn't throw to his side.
No.
People didn't throw to his side.
No.
And that
Not
tells you something. He might not have the stats, but the reason he didn't have the stats because people weren't going to try him. So,
yep. I'm with you there. That's a good combination there. All right, let's go to the wheel. 4 more to go. Victoryland 777 Casino, where you can be a winner too. Yellow, green, blue, and red is what we've got for us here, and it's going to land on the blue panel. The menu. What you got on the menu? Oh,
all right.
How about
Slow that up a little bit so I can see it. Is there anything? We got flatbread. We've got others.
Gurn, I hear the sticky toffee pudding is outstanding.
I will say this, John, I am a sticky toffee pudding aficionado. If it's on the menu, I get it. And I'm type 2 and I'm not supposed to have it, but by God, I'm having me some sticky toffee pudding. All right, I got to ask you one item. If you were to win the Masters, what item would you have on the menu?
Man, that's a good question. I'd probably go, I like a lamb chop. I'd go rack of lamb. I'd go rack of lamb.
No triple tail?
I like to cook that myself. I'd probably go lamb chop. But I will say, seeing that menu, I'm going with the Wagyu steak because I get salmon anywhere.
Right.
I get that anywhere. So I think they're going to have a lot of
special. That's special stuff.
That's good stuff there. Yeah. All right. Good Masters menu there. Always like seeing what the champions are eating at the champions dinner. That'll be in a couple of weeks.
I'm always curious where they put people to sit next to each other. Who has to sit who has to sit by Patrick Reed?
Yeah. I would love to be a fly on the wall at the champions dinner at Augusta National. I bet there's some stories being told. Okay, 3 more to go. Let's spin away. Let's see what we end up with here. Yellow, blue, and red are left on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. What does Gurn Jr. have for us today?
How?
Huh.
Oh, here we go. Let's see it.
Hey, action.
Oh, yeah. I saw this last night. Boom.
Wow.
The alley-oop that was just an alley. That was fantastic. Run that back again so you can appreciate it.
How far did it? Was that like a man?
No, that's from the free throw line. Jonathan Kuminga.
Woo, man.
He's trying to throw it to Jokic, and it went through. How about that? He didn't expect that.
No, he didn't expect that at all. That's impressive.
A huge pickup. That's a huge pickup for the Hawks.
Yeah, man, that is awesome. I love those kind of clips. Now, I don't know if that was the determining factor in the outcome of the game, but hey, doesn't hurt.
Doesn't hurt. The Hawks are hot.
The Hawks are hot. Let's spin it again. 2 more to go here. I think we can get them all in. Let's do it. It is spinning away. It looks like the red panel is going to end up with the replacements. Who could this be about?
What could this be? Oh, that's not good.
The officials are not happy.
Everybody always, complains that they should be happy. NFL refs are full-time employees, I believe. They used to not be. I think they're moving towards being full-time employees. and they're compensated pretty well. But by God, you talking about people complaining? If you don't have, I mean, they're necessary. They recognize they're necessary. So they've got some leverage.
They have some leverage.
Look, the NFL, how much money does the NFL make? More money than God.
Woo, no kidding.
Pay the refs. You know, put more money in the player pension funds.
That's right. Yeah, and I know a couple of NFL officials, they'd probably agree with you on that.
You're making billions. You're making billions, so spend millions. Okay?
Yeah, pay the refs. Pay them. All right, one more to go for the top of the hour. I believe we can make it. We're spinning it to make it official. Our legal team tells us we have to, and it's going to end up on to play or not.
To play
or not. More NBA action.
Interesting. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Look, I was shocked he didn't get moved at the trade deadline. They couldn't make it work. He needs to be somewhere else. That team doesn't have what he needs to be great, and he does have some knee issues. You know, does he? Everybody's hurting this time of year, but look, he's one of my favorite players. He's actually got a great attitude for a superstar.
Yep.
And I think everybody believes he deserves better. So, you know, I don't know where he goes, but he needs to go somewhere with some support.
How about the Lakers? They seem to get all the good players.
Yeah.
All right, anyway. Here's the deal. You got less than 2 hours to get your 4 for 4 and the final 4 picks in. Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Give us your final 4 teams and the total number of points scored in the championship game on Monday, April the 6th. Email those teams and that point total to longshoreMcKnight at gmail.com by 11 a.m. today. That is 1 hour and 59 minutes from now. Get it in. You can be the big winner of a 4-carat diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, valued at well over $4,000. You could be the big winner, but you got to get those entries in by 11 a.m. today. 4 teams in the Final Four and the total number of points scored in the championship game. Also, make sure to come out and see our friends here at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. Markdown Madness is underway, where you can save up to $18,000 on America's best-selling truck, the F-150. You can also save up to $16,000 on the F-150 Lightning model. Ford Explorers up to $13,000 off, as low as $33,990. Broncos up to $12,000 off. And, of course, Expeditions up to $10,000 off. This is just a few of the many great deals going on right here at Stivers during Markdown Madness. Come by and see our friends. You'll be glad you did. And as Eddie Stivers likes to tell us, price sells cars. Okay, tomorrow, Barry will join us, hopefully from Oklahoma City, after Troy gets a win today. I'll be on location tomorrow as well doing the program. So we'll both be back. If one of us isn't, this guy on the screen might hop in as well again. This guy's, going overtime. You never know. But we'll be back getting ready for Bama and Hofstra, recapping Troy and getting you ready for all the other NCAA tournament basketball action. Gurn, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Y'all have a great week.
Yeah, thank Gurn Jr. back at Network Control. Have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow.